Hey folks, welcome back to another bike news. September has gone already, would you believe, which means the weather's already taken a bit of a turn. It's raining and wet outside. Might as well settle down, grab yourself a brew. I've got 5 coppers of MCN to go through here. Let's get on with bike news for September 2025. Hey kids, it's Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another bike news. As I say, for the month of September 2025, quite a few stories to get through, so this one may go on a bit, so settle yourselves down. Right, without further ado, let's crack on then with the first story here, which is SV650 Sideline. This is the Suzuki SV650, of course. It's been an absolute favourite for many, many years. I love the SV650. I haven't ridden one for ages, but they've been on sale ever since I did ride one, which was probably about 8 or 9 years ago. Great V-twin. Proper character, proper motorbike, simple, cheap to run, great bit of kit. Unfortunately, it's not going to be continued into the 2026 model lineup. Let's read what it says here. Countless riders have loved its easygoing V-twin charm, but the end is nigh for Suzuki's long-running SV650 as it's dropped from the UK range with emissions restrictions calling time on the popular rumbling Roadster. It did sound great, this. At this time, it's unclear whether the bike will continue in other markets. So it could be there's not just the end of the bike as far as the UK and Europe is concerned, but maybe the end of an era. We won't be seeing the SV650 again at all. I guess, you know, they've got other bikes that are kind of similar now. The 8s, the new twins, the 8S, I guess, would sort of replace that, and given the choice, you'd probably go for that bike. But yeah, what a shame to see the back of the SV650, but there we go. It's on its way out. All right, next up. Shaken but not stirred. It looks great, but how does the new BSA Scrambler live up to its billing? Now, this sort of bike, this is the BSA Scrambler. I absolutely love this style of bike. I love old school retro bikes, and I particularly love a Scrambler. In fact, at the moment in the garage, I've got the Royal Enfield Bear, which is kind of their take on the 650 Scrambler. This is a direct competitor for that. I'd love to have a go on one of these. Unfortunately, I don't have any contacts at BSA or have any way of contacting them. If anyone from BSA is watching, do get in touch. I pleaded last month. If anyone knows anyone, get them to drop me a note at themissingflyer@gmail.com. I'd love to have a go on one of these and do a review and compare it against the Royal Enfield, which I've been riding in the last week or so. That review is coming up soon. More of that in parish notices at the end of the video. Anyway, let's see what MCN say about the BSA Scrambler. It looks great, but how does the new BSA Scrambler live up to its billing? Longer travel suspension has increased the wheelbase by 28mm and pushed the seat height up by 40mm. Well, that's not so good, but hopefully it's still manageable for us shorties. The front wheel has grown to 19 inches. The combination of a taller seat and a greater reach means you'll be stretched forward rather than sitting upright. Again, not necessarily a good thing, but it'll be interesting to ride this to see whether that sport the comfort on the bike. Standing up for the trails only exacerbates the issue. The forks and shocks are both stiffly sprung but lack damping, which makes the Scrambler feel hesitant and robs the chassis of composure. So far, not a great story. With only 5 gears on offer, it starts to struggle when approaching the national speed limit, and a comfortable cruising speed sits somewhat lower. So yeah, not sounding great. The overall verdict here from Justin Hazeldine is it doesn't quite work. What a shame. This is a bit disappointed about this. There's no denying BSA have hit the nail on the head with the aesthetic. The motor is a peach and arguably one of the best in its class. From the saddle, it doesn't quite work. The bars are slightly too far away and the clock's even further. The riding position isn't as ergonomically sound as it could be, which combined with the underperforming suspension makes it feel like a shed-built special rather than the compromise you could settle for. Comes in at £5,999 plus on-the-road charges. So it looks like it's a thumb down as far as MCN is concerned on the BSA Scrambler, which is a real shame. A bike I was very interested to have a go on. I still am interested to have a go on. Maybe I'll have a different view, I don't know. But anyway, there we go. Have you ridden the BSA Scrambler? What do you think? There's also the Bantam I'd like to go on as well. I think there's a story about that coming up shortly. Right, next up. Big spec, small size, R middleweight Tourers, your perfect way forward. This is one of the MCN group tests. They pitted the Triumph Tiger Sport 660, which I rode last month. And I did quite like it. It was a great all-round. It'd be great as your first big bike, do anything type of bike. But as a result, I was a little bit underwhelmed. I thought I was going to like it more than I did. They pitted against the Yamaha Tracer 7 GT, which I haven't ridden yet, but I've got in the diary. It looks great, the Tracer 7. Now they've restyled the front end. I think it looks a corker. And the Suzuki V-Strom 800 RE, which, unlike the Tracer, I think it looks horrible from the front. I can't be doing with the stacked lights. But having said that, the Suzuki V-Strom has always been a very capable, practical, competent bike. Again, if you're just going to have one bike, you want something that's reliable, frugal, and gets the job done, then the V-Strom it is there for that. I think out of those three, without having ridden them, I like the looks of the Yamaha Tracer most, but that's 10,104 in GT form. The Tiger Sport is 8,995 and the Suzuki V-Strom 8,899. So yeah, there we go. Quite a variance of pricing. Let's have a look on the verdict. Who's this? This is John Urry. He says, how far to downsize? The Suzuki feels the smallest step down due to its physical size and grunt-laden motor. However, it's a notable tech downgrade and it lacks the wow factor. I would agree with that. However, its sporty sway means it isn't quite as accomplished at covering miles. If you're a shorter rider, the Tiger Sport 660 is superb, but its small size can make it feel a bit insubstantial if the roads get choppy, which is why we'd be tempted to explore the Tiger Sport 800 option. So there we go. Tiger Sport 800, they're saying, having done the review of the Tracer 7 Sport 660 and the V-Strom. They've given the Tiger Sport 660 4, in fact, they've given all three of these bikes 4 stars, which never helps with these reviews, is it? So I think it's a case of go for which one you like the look of. And for me, if you could afford it, that's the Yamaha Tracer. Not ridden it yet, though, so I reserve my right to change my mind on that one. Anyway, that's the first paper done. Just 2 stories in this next paper. First one, Britain goes BSA bonkers. There's a bit of a BSA theme to this month's bike news. Reborn brand enjoys Bantam sales boom as electric plans put on hold. Well, that's good news as far as I'm concerned. More about electric bikes later when we talk about the new Honda. BSA have confirmed they'll stick with the 3-bike range for the foreseeable, despite the fact that the firm is enjoying unprecedented demand here in the UK. I didn't realise that. That's great. The Bantam is the latest to join BSA's lineup, and this looks an absolute cracker. It joins the 652cc Gold Star single and BSA's other new model, the Scrambler, which we were just talking about. For a reasonable period of time, the portfolio of 3 motorcycles, a Scrambler, Gold Star and Bantam, is enough to let the world introduce themselves to BSA, says Classic Legends co-founder Anipam Tharaji. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. That approach appears to be paying off in Britain, with the UK distributor seeing unprecedented demand. We have had over 600 orders for the Bantam 350 since the launch, so in just 4 weeks it has been incredible. I've never seen uptake and interest like this. BSA really is back and it has big plans for the future. The UK is the first country in the world to get all 3 models, by the way, which is surprising because, of course, these are made in India, I believe. So there we go, selling like hotcakes apparently, and I can see why they look great. Just wish I could have a go on one, but we've talked about that already. All right, moving on. Let me know if you've ridden the Bantam and the Scrambler. What did you make of them? Did you think that MCN review was a little bit harsh of the Scrambler, or was it about right? Right, next up, moving on to a completely different end of the spectrum. Talking a good game, why the new Indian Chief Sport RT is more than the sum of its upgrades. Now, this, I'm not a massive cruiser fan, and you know, I've ridden a few Harleys, I've ridden a few Indians, and I have to say, in the main, I prefer Indians. And I did ride the Chief Sport a while back up at Crazy Horse in Bury St Edmunds, and it was a really accomplished bike. I did like it. If you're going to go down the cruiser route, I thought it was a corker. I particularly liked their TFT integration. This is how you should do TFTs on classic style bikes, around TFT with analog instruments, and it had cracking sat-nav built in as well. It was really good. Anyway, it says here, Indian have made some useful updates to their Sport Chief, now called the Sport Chief RT. Additional letters referring to road and tour. Oh, I wonder if that's what RT means in the BMW. Always wondered that. The new model claims to offer improved comfort and practicality. The Sport Chief appeared in 2023 based on the Chief Cruiser. Chassis and performance upgrades over the Cruiser include 43mm inverted forks, adjustable Fox shocks, superbike spec brakes, and a neat bikini fairing. The RT is its latest evolution. A new step twin saddle allows pillions a chance to muscle in on the action, has rigid saddlebags, which I actually don't really like the look of, to be fair. There are 2 price points depending on your choice of colour. Black Smoke, which is the one on the pictures here, is £21,495, so not cheap bikes. And Sunset Smoke, heavy metal, is £21,995, so 500 quid extra for Sunset Smoke, which I think are just variants on black and grey, basically. So take your choice. But yeah, nice looking thing, bar those saddlebag things, which look a bit naff in my mind. All right, only the 2 stories in that one. Must have been a bit of a light week that week. Okay, next up, got 5 stories here. First one being Gone Commando, Norton call time on the current 961 and V4 models ahead of a relaunch. Now, this is great news. We know the history of Norton. We've talked about it a lot here on Bike News over the years, haven't we? But now with TBS backing, Norton has got a lot of money. They're basically, looks like they're scrapping the old outgoing models and hopefully bringing us something new, which I assume we'll hear about at the forthcoming EICMA stuff next month. So let's read what it says here. Norton have officially entered a bold new era with the announcement that they will be ending production of all current models, including the 961 Commando and the V4 SV. The announcement also confirms new machines are already in production at the firm's Midlands facility, and that what Norton call their bold new product range will be unveiled on November the 4th at EICMA. So that's something really to look out for next month. Absolutely fascinating to see what they come up with. Maybe I'll make a little video on those when they're announced as soon as I hear. Executive Director Richard Arnold commented, "As one chapter ends, another begins, and the waiting is now almost over to reveal our exciting future." This sounds great. Managing Director of parent company TVS, Sudarshan Venu, stated that all 6 new products, so 6 new bikes, wow, will be available from the summer of 2026 in the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Spain and India as the firm opens up export markets. This is great news. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing what they come up with. I quite liked you remember when old Norton, the last old Norton, was going out of business and they had those 2 650 models that everybody put lots of back orders in. They looked absolutely amazing. Can't remember what they were called now, but they looked great. Let's hope Norton come up with something that's going to be a little bit like that. Not so niche boutique, but something that we can all get our teeth into. I don't think that is going to be the case, but we shall see. I really, I rode the Norton Commando, the outgoing bike here, about 2 years ago, and I made a bit of a scathing review. I just didn't like it at all, and I was really disappointed because I really want Norton to be a success. They've got a great brand cachet despite all the problems. Norton's, the history and their muscle bikes and their, the British. I want them to succeed. So let's hope these new models are absolute corkers. Looking forward to seeing those. All right, next story here. Honda T's EV future. Now, this was the electric bike that I referred to earlier. Update shows mega firm's first electric leisure motorcycles. So Honda, quite late to the electric marketplace, are now bringing us an electric roadster. We've seen some spy shots, and there's a spy shot of it here in camo wrap. What do you make of this? I mean, the front end, it's hard to tell with these spy shots, isn't it? But the front end, to me, looks sort of, what does that look like? The new Hornet, doesn't it, a little bit? But we shall see. Anyway, it says here, dubbed the EV Fun concept. The new middleweight roadster was first seen as a prototype at the 2024 Milan show. The EV Fun concept is mid-sized naked equivalent with fixed battery pack and automobile-grade CCS2 quick charging compatibility. The new machine has a single-sided swing arm with monoshock rear suspension, belt drive, good, inverted forks with twin discs and radial calipers. It doesn't say here how much it's going to cost because it's still in the prototype form. But what do you think about this? Can you get excited about this? I have to say, alas, I can't. I'm a Honda fan, generally speaking, and I like the look of the front end of this. I like the look of the Hornet, so if it does look Hornet-esque, I think the styling will be spot on. But actual electric bikes, having ridden a few now, number one, they're very heavy. Number two, it's just the whole charging thing is such a ball ache, isn't it? And for me, they don't give me anything over and above a normal internal combustion engine. So it's a thumbs down for me without even riding it. I've no interest in riding electric bikes whatsoever, I'm afraid. Lots of those electric manufacturers that were so hopeful about 5 years ago seem to have disappeared now, don't they? Interested in your view. Did you buy an electric bike? How did you get on with it? Have you still got one? Do you like electric bikes? Are you looking forward to the Honda? Be interested to see your thoughts in the comments below as ever. Right, next story here. BMW Urban EV raises the roof. Self-balancing scoot concept revealed. Now, what do you make of this? I made a note on my little post-it note here that just says no exclamation mark because for me, just there's something about this whole idea that I don't like. But I'm now looking at it again. I'm sort of changing my mind a bit. I don't know where I stand on this. Self-balancing sounds a bit weird to me. Anyway, let's read what it says. BMW have a new urban electric concept designed to let you ride without the need for a helmet. I like the sound of that. The design is aimed at making riding more accessible by removing the need for a helmet and riding gear. I wonder what the legal position is there, because it is a two-wheeler, even though it's sort of enclosed. I wonder what the law is on that. Presumably, BMW have done their homework, and that is the case. The seating position with an integrated backrest section and twin belt harness keeps the rider in place should they take a tumble. Previous concepts, such as the Vision DC Roadster, never hit the road. So we don't know if this will actually make it to production. Maybe we'll see it at EICMA. I don't know. What do you think of this? I think this bike was mentioned with the 44 Teeth Boys on their news item a few weeks back. And they seem to like it, I think, but not for me. Anyway, moving on. Right, so talking of bikes that we maybe don't want, this is more of what I think we do want. So this is CF Moto. They brought out a 4-cylinder aimed to be a VFR style all-rounder, it says here. So it says here, the new 750 RS steps into do anything role reminiscent of the old Honda VFR 800, a bike that I absolutely loved, still do. Its performance is in the VFR's bracket too, with a claimed 110 horsepower, perfect for the road. Other similarities include the use of a single-sided swing arm and dual-level winglets, said to create 33 kilograms of downforce at speed. The whole 3 kilograms, Well, there you go. It's got KYB suspension, brakes are Brembo, M4.32 4-pot monoblocks, pretty good brakes then. Standard equipment includes cornering ABS and lean-sensitive traction control. The 750 SRS would make its Western debut at international trade shows later this year, which again, I guess means EICMA. So look out for that one, folks. It looks nice. I particularly like the 4 pipes coming out the back underneath the seat. Sort of high-level exhaust pipes kind of lost favour, didn't they? Because they don't make sense from a weight point of view, putting them up high. Do they just make them top heavy? But there's no denying pipes up under the seat look cool, don't they? It reminds me a bit of the old the Triumph Sprint ST that had those 3 pipes underneath at the back, and things like the Benelli tray triple as well. That was that had 3 pipes coming out the back as well, didn't it? I think I had a fan. I can't remember. Anyway, it looked cool. That's the point. As does that. So we'll see. Right, last story in this paper then. The real deal. New 5,699 KTM 390 Enduro R is a proper small capacity dual sport dirt destroyer. Now, unfortunately, I can't ride off-road at the moment. I won't go into the reasons why. Some of you all know. So I can't test these sort of bikes, but I do love the looks of this sort of bikes. And I've now got a newfound love since I did a video with Chopsy for Supermotos. And I've got the Supermoto version of this coming soon, the SMCR. But anyway, this is the Enduro R, the proper off-road version. It says here, the new 390 Enduro R is the first model to arrive from KTM's overhauled 390 range. The good news is that the 5699 390 Enduro R is a bike fit for purpose. Gone is the 19-inch front wheel, replaced with a larger 21-incher. The chassis has also undergone key changes, revised head angle, higher bars, new triple clamps, and all new subframe. It's got a claimed 44.3 brake horsepower, plenty of go, especially compared to the relatively gutless Honda CRF 300 with its claimed 26.9 brake horsepower. Yeah, so this is competing against the Honda CRF, of which I was also a fan. I owned one for a number of years myself. It looks like it's going to have far more go. I never found as a newbie off-roader, I never found the CRF terribly underpowered, but I get that a bit more grunt helps when you're off-road. Comes with a quick shifter for up and down changes. On the tarmac, there are zero concerns about keeping up with traffic, whatever road you're on. So looks like it could be the real deal, this, doesn't it? 5699, so less than $6,000. If you're in the market for something like a Honda CRF, definitely, depending on what you think about taking a risk on KTM. Now they're kind of not reborn, but you know what I mean, they're out of the doldrums, at least for the meantime. This could well be the bike to go for if you want to start your off-road riding career. Like the look of that, and really looking forward to having a go on the SMCR version, the Supermoto version, which I think will be an absolute hoot around the local lanes. Alrighty, that's that. Next up, 4 stories in this paper. First one, from 0 to 62 in 2.5 seconds. This is the new Ducati Diavel V4 RS. It's Ducati's quickest production bike ever, apparently. It certainly looks the doolies, doesn't it? It looks amazing. And again, love what they've done with the exhaust pipe here with the sort of 4 stack on the side of it. Looks epic to me. Do love a Ducati Diavel, and in fact I've got a review coming up. I'll give you details in parish notices in a minute about that. Not on, sadly, the RS, but just the V4S, which itself is a pretty impressive bike. It says here, Ducati have pulled the wraps off their most powerful muscle cruiser yet. The new machine boasts a claim 180 brake horsepower, which is 12 brake horsepower more than the standard Diavel's Gran Turismo V4, thanks to the use of Ducati's Desmo Sedici Stradale motor, found in the current Panigale V4 lineup, and indeed is in my Streetfighter, cracking engine. Makes it the fastest accelerating production platform, dispatching 0 to 62 in 2.5 seconds in the hands of MotoGP ace Marc Marquez. So maybe we wouldn't all do 2.5 seconds, but certainly it's possible to do that. Gains revised gearing for stronger acceleration in the lower ratios. The bike also gains Ducati's latest quick shifter, which works using a drum position sensor for more accurate gear selection and a shorter, more precise feel, apparently. Sounds good, looks good. It doesn't say here what the price is, or I can't see it at a quick glance, but you can imagine this is going to be flipping expensive. Do love the look of the red Brembo calipers on the front as well. Wonder why more bikes don't do that, because in the car world, red calipers are a thing, aren't they? I don't know why. I'm a bit of a tart when it comes to things like that, and I quite like it. But yeah, looks good, looks good. Yeah, maybe we'll get a go at that, one of those, but maybe we'll leave it till next summer. Right, next up, story about Maving, a British, talking of electric bikes, which I've said I'm not a fan of, and I did ride the latest Maving bike a few months back in the summer, and although I did quite like it as electric bikes go, it was very expensive, and I wondered who the bike was aimed at. Well, it turns out here, they're doing pretty well, Maving, so that's good news. It says, Mazing Rave 11 million. British urban electric motorcycle firm Maving have secured 11 million in Series A funding to help increase their presence in foreign markets. And that maybe answers that question. That's where they're selling to. Because it says here, the money will be used to help scale up the American arm of the business, already accounting for 40% of the firm's 2025 sales. So very popular with our American cousins. So, well, good luck to Maving. Let's hope this cash boost means they can go from strength to strength. That's brilliant. Maybe we can see some new models as well. Now, talking of strange named bikes, Benda. If you're on social media, I'm on Instagram mostly. Follow me there if you don't already. And Benda have been quite active on there recently. And despite this slightly dubious sounding name, the bikes look absolutely incredible. I don't know. I'm assuming they're Chinese. I don't know who does the branding and comes up with the names, but I think Benda was a mistake, frankly. But if you can get over that, which might be quite difficult, it does look incredible, or this bike does, and there's a few more coming, I think, in the next paper. It says here, Benda might be newcomers to the UK market, but they've already carved an enviable reputation in their Chinese homeland for bold styling and innovation. The Dark Flag 950 adds to that with a new 948cc version of the company's V4 engine paired to impressive levels of tech at a low price. And it does look lovely made. I mean, the engine looks good. I mean, it looks as good as any Indian, doesn't it? We'll see how it rides, of course. It's got 106.5 brake horsepower, apparently, and the power goes through a 6-speed transmission and belt final drive, so no messy chain maintenance. The single circular instrument looks traditional, but it's actually a TFT with all the functions of a more extensive dash, including phone connectivity. Love that. Tech includes ride-by-wire throttle with standard fit cruise control and traction control. It's got cylinder deactivation, so it's a pretty high-tech engine. That's the thing where when you're at idle or under certain revs, the rear bank of cylinders doesn't kick in to save on fuel economy and also make it ride a little bit cooler. We've seen that on some Ducatis before. Price will be key, of course, and we don't know what the pricing is yet, but they reckon it'll be just below the LFC 700, which costs 9199 here. So they reckon the Dark Flag should come in at a sensible level. So maybe less than £9,000 for this cruiser bike, if that's what you're into. Like the look of that. Hopefully you get a ride on one of those. And then another Benda here at the end, the Benda LFC 700. It may look AI generated, but does it have a place in the real world? Now, this is absolutely nuts looking bike, isn't it? The rear tyre is absolutely humongous. Look at the section on that. And the front of it's got like a fan tape, sorry, turbo intake look thing, which I'm sure it isn't, but it looks cool. Anyway, it says here, the 9199 LFC 700 is the first of Benda's 3 models to hit the streets, from the orange squeezer air intake. Oh, it is a proper air intake. Brilliant. Crackle-coated cast aluminium frame, the inline-4 engine, and unfeasibly large rear tyre. Benda's boffins have managed to bring together a bafflingly bizarre collection. I love that. Benda's boffins, bafflingly bizarre. Of parts to create a manga-type monster that oozes with urban menace. The transversely mounted 679.6cc inline-4 brings hilariously visceral touch to proceedings. To reach its modest peak of 84 brake horsepower, the motor needs to spin up to 10,300 RPM, which produces a raucous, banshee-like wail from the airbox in the process. It sounds outrageous and gives a sensation of piloting an absolute screaming bruiser of the thing. Well, that alone makes it worth a ride, doesn't it? Again, Chinese, so, you know, you've got to make your choice on whether you go down that route, but it's hard to avoid Chinese stuff these days, isn't it? It does look a bit angular for my liking, but I do like the looks of that big fat rear tyre. I do like that intake. Got to have a go on one of those and just experience what that howling noise is all about. So maybe we'll have a chat to the Benda people. I do have a contact there and get that one in. Excellent. All right, one more paper to go. Right, another trailer. Next gen trailer arrives. Yamaha reintroduced the WR125R with variable valve timing. Now these look cracking, don't they? It's only a 125cc bike, so they aren't going to be particularly grunty. Nothing like that KTM we just looked at, or indeed the Honda CRF. So pretty gutless, as 125s are, but if it's your first foray into off-road riding, why not? They'll be very, very lightweight, and they look as sharp as you like, don't they? I really like this. Let's see what it says here. Yamaha are looking to attract the next generation of off-road riding enthusiasts by reintroducing the WR125R to the European lineup. The new machine produces the A1 license maximum of 14.8 brake horsepower and uses variable valve actuation. Not going to rip your arms off, but variable valve actuation means you should be able to spend a fraction less time climbing up and down the gearbox. Seat height of 875mm is likely to put off shorter riders. Yes, that's pretty flipping tall, but most of these bikes are tall, and they usually have massive compression when you sit on them. So probably not as bad as that sounds, but I'd like to go on one of these. I mean, they're going to be narrow. It doesn't say how heavy it is. A quick scan through. Now, I can't see the weight of it, but it's going to be really lightweight, which is going to make it dead easy for off-roading and be a great way to start in that game. All right, next one on this page intercepts some major savings. This is John Ari talking about Royal Enfields, the fact that you can get some bargains on them now. The Interceptor 650, which was launched in 2018, was a huge success. In fact, it was the UK's best-selling naked in 2019 as riders were drawn to its basic charms. Me included. I love the Interceptor, and I've had one for, 6 years now. With the arrival of the Triumph Speed 400, sales of the Interceptor have dried up, and they are also heavily discounted. You can get a new Interceptor for $4,899 in the super cool Barcelona blue paint, which is $1,700 off RRP. And he's got a picture of the very bike at the bottom here that's less than $5,000. Nice bargain if you fancy an Interceptor. But yeah, the Triumph, we said, didn't we, when the Triumph Speed 400s came out, I rode both their bikes, the Scrambler and the Speed 400, and they are cracking machines. Quite a bit more expensive than this, though, so it depends on your budget, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with an Interceptor. But the Triumphs are good. All right, next. It's all unfared in love and war. This is a comparison. The Ducati Streetfighter V4S. I'm biased here because I'm a V4S owner. The Aprilia Tuono V4 Factory, the BMW M1000R Competition, and the Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RS, which is the cheapest of the bunch. And perhaps, I mean, I do love the Streetfighter, but if I didn't have the Streetfighter, the next one I would be looking at would be the Triumph, I think, because I'm a Triumph fan, and I haven't got one in the garage at the moment. Let's see what the verdict was on these four. Cracking proper super nakeds, these. They've given the speed, let's have a look, they've given everything 4 stars except the Tuono, surprisingly, which they gave 3 to. Now, the Tuono usually does really well in MCN comparison, so it looks like it might have been knocked off his top spot. Let's see what Simon Hargreaves says, one of my favourite reviewers. It's tricky to pick a winner when bikes are so evenly matched, but we all agree the Aprilia is the least attractive with a finish that doesn't reflect its price. Well, that's a shame, isn't it? The Speed Triple isn't as showy as the Ducati, but it's a nicer bike to ride day to day. The Ducati is pure theatre, brash and beautiful, built with a design flourish, and that's a lot of its appeal to me. I just love owning the thing. Okay, I haven't got the latest, the 2025 model, mine's a 2024, but it's still a brutal beast of a bike, and I love owning it. The BMW ticks every box apart from the one labelled taste. I like it. Gaudi it is, but not arguing with its all-round game. Yeah, out of all these bikes, I actually quite like the looks of the Aprilia. The M1000R doesn't look as good, does it? And it's also $28,398. Very eye-watering price. Anyway, it says here, it can poodle about as happy as a Triumph for that reason. It's the winner. So actually, they've made the BMW the winner. But it is 28 grand. You ain't going to see too many of those on the road, are you? But yeah, what a batch of bikes. These bikes are right up my street. You've got to be careful. They're a bit license losing if you're not careful. And you're forever watching the Speedo, which is the downside. Oh, we've got another Benda. Can you believe it? It's a bit of a Benda-themed thing. Funky names, serious bikes. These names are hilarious. Benda's all-new Chinchilla and Napoleanbob 500 V-twins look set to make their mark. Now, again, these look great, don't they? Look absolutely cracking. On the Napoleanbob at the bottom here, it's got a fake girder front suspension, which looks the biz, but sadly it is fake. The engine looks lovely. A V-twin again. Lovely-looking TFT in the round presentation. Now, what does it say here? There's something refreshing about Benda's approach that's difficult to put your finger on. The Chinchilla has the air of a scaled-down Harley Sportster, while the Napoleanbob leans on the stripped-back bobber look. 476cc V-twin is identical in both machines. And Justin Hazeldine, who's ridden them, says, Chinese bikes have come a long way in a short period. Benda have focused on turning out an end product that is simply well-rounded and complete. At $5,399 on the road, the Chinchilla undercuts the Honda Rebel by 400 quid. And it certainly looks a lot better, doesn't it? It's a bike that blends manageability with peppy performance and high production standards. As for the names, well, just smile and keep on riding, yeah. Riding something called a Benda Chinchilla isn't the most macho sounding of bikes, is it? But anyway, I suppose you'd get your leather chaps on, couldn't you, and give it a go. Anyway, let's not get stereotypical about cruiser riders. I think they look all right, and with the caveat that you've got all the the usual concerns about Chinese bikes. Are they going to last? Where's your dealer? Not to mention, of course, the political thing that let's not get into. Yeah, I still fancy going it. So yeah, I need to get a few Bendas in the garage, don't I? Right, quickly moving on then. Right, parish notices then. A few things that I want to mention to you. First thing, note for your diary, 25th and 26th of October, Museum Live. Do you remember they've done this before? This is at the National Motorcycle Museum in Birmingham. It's basically a day where you can go to the museum and look around for free. So if you're at a loose end on the 25th and 26th, you can get in for free. And not only do you get to look around the museum. But there's lots of other stuff going on as well. In particular, my mate Henry Cole is there with his mates, and my mate Alan Millyard, and Guy Willison as well, and others as well. People like John McGuinness are there, Steve Plater, and others, doing all sorts of talks and stuff and displays and what have you. So well worth going along on the 25th and 26th of October. That's a weekend. I'll be going on the Saturday. I'm not doing anything official there. I'm just going to be there as a punter. So if you're going along to watch, then might see you there on the Saturday. But that's definitely one for the diary. The weather's looking a bit grim. What better way to get your motorcycle fixed? Second thing I wanted to talk about was, oh yeah, did you see the video that I made with Chopsy when we went and rode his supermotos? It was a great laugh, and it was on a lovely hot day as well. So if you haven't seen that, if you don't follow Land Chop Rides, or maybe you don't get notified of all his videos, I'll try and put a link if I can, either in the corner or in the description below to that video, because we had great fun doing it, and there's the sorts of bikes that I don't often ride. So go and watch that if you've not seen it. As I say, link below or in the corner, wherever I can find a way technically to do it. You may have noticed I've got some new sponsors as well. So thank you to Aochi and to CPMG, have to think about that then, for their sponsorship. You'll see them on the channel for the next few months at the start and end. And to celebrate that fact, I've got new closing music as well, which one or two of you have noticed. So thank you for paying attention so closely. All right, coming up on the channel then, what have we got coming up? Well, there's something, well, the next video on Wednesday, the 8th of October, is my ride on that Ducati Diavel, the V4S. When I rode it, I thought I hadn't ridden one before, so I did a full review, and then it turns out I did ride one a few years back. But anyway, having made the video, I thought I'd publish it anyway. So that's out if you're interested in Diavels. The good news was I watched both reviews, and I said much the same thing, so at least I was consistent. And then this is another one for your diary. If you fancy buying something for your bike, on the 11th of October, I've made a video about installing proper big panniers on my new GS. I've decided that the expandable Vario ones are no longer for me, and I wanted some proper aluminium ones. So, and they take mounting brackets and all that sort of thing. So I've made a video about installing the SW Motec panniers on my bike. But in coinciding with that video going out, for 48 hours, there'll be another one of those 10% off SW Motec offers. So it only applies on the 11th of October. For 48 hours after that video, you can get 10% off anything. When that video comes out, I'll give you a code and I'll give you a link. So if you're thinking of buying something in the next few months for your particularly adventure bike, because SW Motec make all sorts of stuff for all sorts of bikes, but check out their website. If there's something you fancy buying, hold off until the 11th of October, because I'll get you 10% off anything then. And if you are getting things like the panniers I bought, for example, they're like £1,000 for the full set. So 10% off, well worth having. That's coming up on the 11th of October. Make a note of that one. 15th of October, the Bear 650 review I talked about. 18th of October, the R12 GS from BMW. Beautiful, lot of retro bikes on my channel this month. A beautiful machine, really enjoyed that. The classic 650 from Royal Enfield. Been waiting to ride that for ages. That's coming up on the 25th. And there'll be some other bits and pieces as well. I'm thinking about doing another this week in the saddle. It might be a 2 weeks in the saddle as well, where I talk about all sorts of general things I've been up to. All right. That's it for bike news this time. Hope you enjoyed that. Look forward to reading your comments below as ever, and look forward to speaking to you again soon. Until then, this has been the Missenden Flyer. Cheerio.